Hi everyone, today we're going to be making EGUSI. So EGUSI is an incredible West African stew popular in Nigeria, Ghana, other countries with vegetables, meats, seafoods, and egusi in it. So EGUSI is basically the seeds of certain plants like gourds or squashes that get ground up and are used to thicken this soup, and it is just amazing. I want to dedicate this video to my mother-in-law. She's an amazing cook. She's Nigerian. And when my in-laws visit, she always fills up our freezer with wonderful food, including egusi. Egusi can be a little bit daunting, so I'm going to overview the steps of this recipe and we're going to go through each of them. We're first going to rehydrate some dry ingredients, then we'll cook some meat, then we'll blend some veggies, then we're going to strain the stock and fry the meat, then we'll cut the spinach and fry the egusi, then we will make the egusi stew, and lastly we will prep shrimp and pounded yam to serve it all together, and we will enjoy this wonderful dish. First step is you're going to boil water and you're going to pour it on top of dried stockfish, dried whole crayfish, and dried bitter leaf. I'm going to go through each of these ingredients. So here we have pictured bitter leaf. I got mine from Nigeria. You can get it at your local African store. We also have some whole smoked crayfish and some stockfish that has been dried. And I actually bought the stockfish at my local Kroger. Here's the bag. In the description box below, I'll put instructions on how you can make your own using fresh tilapia in the microwave. And these dry ingredients are going to sit in this boiling water and soften over the next 2 hours as we make the rest of the egusi. Next, we're going to prepare the meat. I am just using stew meat here, about 3 cups that I've stored in my freezer in a Gladware container. Egusi is often also or traditionally made with smoked turkey, tripe, or shaki, and shrimp. You're going to see I'm just using beef and shrimp to simplify, but according to my Nigerian husband, this still tastes amazing, bomb.com, spot on, okay? So do buy beef with bones, but you can use just stew meat as well if that's what you have on hand like I did. Roughly chop half of a large onion or a small onion and 3 large garlic cloves. Purple onion is what you want to use. It has more of a kick than yellow or white. And we are going to spice this meat with salt, Nigerian pepper. You can use cayenne if you don't have Nigerian pepper, thyme, ground black pepper, and curry. The exact measurements are in the description box below, okay? The dried onion in this picture you're going to see I'm going to later use in the shrimp that I prepare, and the lemon lime soda is not in this recipe. It's just something I was drinking. So I added all those spices together, mixed them up with my patriotic mixing spoons there, and I poured that spice mix on the beef, onions, and garlic. For further flavor, I added chicken stock. When I cook chicken, whatever liquid's at the bottom of the pan, I strain it and freeze it. And then instead of using a bouillon cube like Maggie or Knorr, you can just pour this chicken stock right on top of your meat. In this case, on top of the beef in your Instant Pot here. If you don't have homemade stock, that's okay. Grab a bouillon cube. And you are going to also add a half cup of water and cook this on 25 minutes, the manual default setting on your Instant Pot. Now we need to prepare the vegetables for blending, which will be the stew base. You'll need red bell peppers, purple onion, and if you choose, habanero. When I buy my red bell peppers, I take the seeds out, thinly slice them because it's easy when I want to make a goosey like this or to put them on pizzas. If you choose to do this, you're going to take out 4 quarts of frozen red bell peppers, the equivalent of 4 red bell peppers. And you're gonna take those red bell peppers, either defrosted or fresh, and a medium purple onion, habanero if you choose. I didn't add habanero because my little one doesn't like spice. And you're gonna blend it, pulse it a few times on the lowest power setting on your blender. I have a Ninja, and so I'm using the number 1 button a few times until I achieve this beautiful chunky texture shown here. Okay, now it's time to strain the stock and then fry the meat. Beef has finished, and when the Instant Pot is done pressure cooking, an L appears and it starts counting up. It just means it's keeping the food warm. So let's go ahead, open the Instant Pot and see our beef. Saw this beautiful beef. Looks absolutely delicious. Again, use beef with bones if you have it. This is just what I had. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the beef and we're gonna actually strain the rest of the contents of the Instant Pot. That's gonna be a beef stock. It looks beautiful. Mine came out to about a little under 750 mLs. Okay guys, so this beef looks delicious, and it is, but we need to make it crispy. We're not gonna have just soggy beef bits in our Augusti. So a lot of people will roast this. I've seen it 425. I just fry it basically in the microwave. What I do is I put it on a plate with about a teaspoon of oil, microwave it for 3 minutes, check where it's at, turn it over, do it 30 seconds more. Here I didn't add oil, but I usually do, and it just makes these really crispy or yummy bits. I actually sometimes crisp this up more and just give it to my kids as beef jerky, and it is delicious. Now it's time to cut the spinach and prep the Augusti. So fresh spinach rather than frozen is best, and you are going to cut the spinach into strips. For the Augusti, blend 3/4 of a small purple onion with a 1/4 cup of water. Here is the actual Augusti, or the inside of the melon seed ground up. Here's the package from the local African store, and you're going to mix the Augusti with the onion water mixture you just made, as well as some crayfish powder. And you'll see it almost looks like a very wet tuna salad. Here it is dropping off the fork. Now we need to fry the Augusti. People will usually do this on the stove top, but I found a lot of Augusti would stick to the pan, so I came up with a method to do this in the microwave. I add a tablespoon of palm oil, as shown here, to a broad-based microwave-safe dish, and also a tablespoon of vegetable oil. And I mix those two up. I add half of the Augusti mixture, and then I put it in the microwave on full power for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, it looks like this coming out of the microwave, and I go ahead and flip it from the bottom, mix it up, put it in 1 more minute, and the result is perfectly fried Augusti. Has the consistency of a dry scrambled egg. Now it's time to bring all the ingredients together to make the Goosey Stew. Here are the bitter leaf, stockfish, and the smoked crayfish, and we are just going to drain them after soaking for at least an hour, ideally more like 2.
Okay, yeah, I think I trusted it.
Now we need to fry the vegetables. In a large stock pot, I used 6 tablespoons of vegetable oil and 3 tablespoons of palm oil. And then when that gets hot, meaning when you pour the vegetables in and they sizzle, you're going to add all of those delicious blended veggies that you prepared earlier.
No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain.
As you watch this Augusti coming together, just keep in mind that I actually have 2 batches of Augusti that I shot footage of. So one is a deeper red. That's the one where I had palm oil. So delicious, adds that extra nuttiness. And then one batch is when I only had vegetable oil. You can make this if you only have vegetable oil, but Try to get palm oil if you can. The batch with just vegetable oil is a little more pale. Add in a tablespoon and a half of ground crayfish powder to your veggies, and also add in the rehydrated and drained stockfish as well as the whole crayfish. I don't have footage of me adding the whole crayfish, but add it in and stir it all up. Put the pot lid almost completely on the pot, leaving a little vent for steam to escape, and cook on high heat for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, take off the lid and pour in that beautiful beef stock and mix it all up. Put that pot lid back on like it was, a little vent for steam to escape, and cook on medium-high heat, like level 6, 7 out of 10 for 10 minutes. Take the pot lid off, taste to see what you think of it. The stock has reduced at this point, and you can add a little bit of salt. I added some black pepper here too. I don't usually do that, but I had set aside salt and black pepper for something else, so I just added both. Okay, put the pot lid back on. I let it cook for 2-3 more minutes on that medium heat to let the flavors combine. And then I added in the Augusti that was fried earlier, as well as the bitter leaf that's drained and rehydrated, and beef. I don't have footage of me adding the beef, but I added in the beef I had fried earlier. I put the pot lid back on and lowered the heat to 5 out of 10. Let it cook another 10 minutes. And at this point, I added in spinach. For this batch, you can see I actually used baby spinach that you can buy in the bag. It's one less step than cutting up the spinach, but you can, of course, use the spinach cut up like shown earlier. So let the spinach sit in the Augusti for about 3 minutes on level 3 out of 10 heat. The spinach is going to wilt, and your Augusti is going to be looking beautiful, and you can remove it from the heat. Final step is to prep some shrimp and pounded yam and then enjoy. And I'm going to walk you through 2 ways to prepare shrimp that you can add to the side or either mix in. First way shown here is some raw shrimp in a microwave safe dish. Add some dried onion, salt, pepper, half a cup of water. Put it in the microwave for 3 minutes, stir it up, might need a minute or 2 more until it's all cooked through, and this is going to produce a really nice soft shrimp that you can serve on the side of your Augusti or again, mix it in. A second method to produce crispy shrimp is put a tablespoon of olive oil, tablespoon of butter in a cast iron pan, make it really hot, and drop some marinated shrimp in there to sizzle. That's also a great way to have shrimp with a different texture. For the pounded yam, Ola Ola is a good brand I've learned from Nigerians, and the full recipe is in the description box below, but basically I use a 2-to-1 ratio of water to pounded yam and cook it in the microwave for a total of 10 minutes. You are going to put that piping hot pounded yam next to your Augusti and shrimp and enjoy. This stuff's so good, you know, that when baby doll heard it was finally done, she just fell out. My little one had to revive her. It is delicious, so I hope you make it. And I just want to end with an encouraging verse. This verse is from Mark. It's about a dad who had a sick son, and he brought his son to Jesus and basically asked him to heal his son. And Jesus said to him, "If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes." And immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." And I just want to encourage you, you know, life brings difficulties. If you're walking through something difficult, physical or emotional challenge, go to God and, you know, believe that He's able to handle it, because He is. He may not handle it in the way that we want, but He is able to provide healing and comfort. Again, it's not always the way that we envision or want, but He is able. So have a blessed day and just know that God loves you. Bye.